What's up, guys? It's Archer here. Welcome back to our Ootp 19 franchise with the Kansas City Royals. And I have the team history index pulled up here because we just had the worst season in Kansas City Royals history. And I say that because I'm, one, really upset about it, but two, because I also want you to see our expected record is 59-103, which again is not good. But we were 9 points down from what we were supposed to be, according to our Pythagorean record. And I think a large part of that is because our BABIP was 320. And part of what that tells me is that our defense just isn't very good. Usually teams can keep BABIP even or even somewhat suppress it if their defense is good. I think our defense is awful, and so that's why we were so far down on that. But also, if you look at the 3 seasons that I've been managing, we've just been really consistently bad, and I want that to be our low point. I want that to be the point where we say, all right, that's enough, we're done, we're going to start making moves towards contention now. So, to do that, we have a lot of places we need to shore up. One of those, let's start with the pitching staff, is the bottom of our bullpen. If you look at our bullpen, we had Richard Lovelady, and then everybody else was awful. That's just bar none. Brad Keller was kind of acceptable for a middle reliever, but even then he wasn't good. Liam Hendricks was awful. Justin Dunn was not very good, and so we really need to step it up there. Our rotation, actually, if you look at it, now that we have Oaks, now that we have Sheffield, now that we have Whitley, I think it's decent enough to hold. And Tanner Hoke may just be barely good enough to hold down that 5th spot. And if he's not, we can bring Justin Dunn in. We can bring Brad Keller in, I believe. Yeah, he has 3 pitches, so we have options there. But the back end of that bullpen really needs work, so we're going to try and rework that this season. And then on offense, if we just go down the list, we have a good defensive catcher, so that's good. We have a pretty decent defensive first baseman. Whit Merrifield is okay at second base. Our third baseman is okay. Our shortstop is not good. Our left fielder is not good. Our center fielder for most of the year was Brandon Downs, and he was okay, but not amazing. So Ely will definitely help there. And then Khalil Lee is okay. To me, I would like to see not just okay defense, but plus defense at 2 out of the 4 infield positions. So we have 1, and then I would need 1 more person to be plus, and nobody below average or average. And in the outfield, I'd like the same thing pretty much. Now the reason that, Zhao was our center fielder. I don't know why I said that it was Downs. But the reason that Zhao isn't as good at left field right now is because he doesn't have the experience, and that was the same thing with center field last year. So he made a lot of errors in the early goings, but now he does have a higher baseline at left field than he used to have at center field when he started last season. So hopefully that'll be okay there. And hopefully we can have Ely and Zhao, and that'll be our 2 out of 3 in the outfield, and Khalil Lee can just be okay if he does indeed stay our right fielder. So I think that side of it is improving. Offensively, we could use a bat or 7. The only guy that was kind of standout was Khalil Lee, and if you look at Lee's ratings, you would say that he's decent but not amazing. So I think that while having him as a right fielder is okay, it's unacceptable for him to be our best bat. I think Ely's going to be really good next year, but I don't think he's going to be as good as he will be at his peak next year, so we can't really rely on him to be the big bat. So what I'm thinking this offseason is we need somebody who is on offense good and also a plus defender, preferably in the infield. And then we need to shore up the back end of our bullpen, and that'll hopefully bring us to near an even record, and then we can start moving towards contention. That's the plan. We'll see if it works out that way. We are now into the off season with off season awards, so I'm going to go through those really quickly just to let you guys see them. American League Gold Glove Awards, we didn't get any. I would like to start getting some. I'll let you go through those really quick. In the NL, the Golden Gloves, no huge surprises there as far as I'm concerned. Reliever of the year goes to Zach Britton. He was at Texas. Nick Vincent is a new name? No, he just had a great season. Okay. I'd not heard of him. Nick Gardewine is, I believe, in the minors right now in real life for the Rangers. But yeah, Zach Britton, .91. That's almost Cy Young worthy, right? I mean, when we were talking about him a couple years ago, that was not even that good. Jesse Biddle had an amazing season. Yesiel Sierra coming in second. Interesting. Silver Slugger Awards. Again, we didn't win any of these. That's pretty annoying. But, you know, we didn't have anybody good enough. So what am I going to do? Yeah. All right, the NL. These are your Gold Glove winners. Joey Gallo winning it with the Mets, hitting 60 bombs. That's a ton. Yeah, checking guy won it for the Boston Red Sox, Rookie of the Year, Bo Bichette? Bichetti? I can't remember how that's said. He came in second. Chihiro Kaneko won it for the Cubs, 246. That's really good from a rookie especially. Jeff Bannister won AL Manager of the Year. Dave Roberts won NL Manager of the Year. And yeah, Zach Britton did win the Cy Young, so I was right. Those are definitely Cy Young-worthy numbers. And Danny Salazar finished second. Eduardo Rodriguez finished third. Okay. Syndergaard wins the Cy Young. I believe that is his second. Yep. So that's 2 Cy Youngs for Noah Syndergaard. Chris Sale of the Cubs comes in second. AL MVP was Francisco Lindor, who had a ridiculous season once again. And one day I'm going to play as the Cleveland Indians, probably offline, but just to have Francisco Lindor and see how his career plays out, because every time I see him in a save, he's on pace for the Hall of Fame. It's ridiculous. In the NL, Corey Seager, kind of a similar story to Francisco Lindor, actually, but he had an amazing season. 341, 412, 591, 35 home runs. Noah Syndergaard, interestingly, finished second, which is, you know, pretty fair with a 2.25 ERA and 250 Ks. Not bad at all. That said, we're going to go to salary arbitration now. We have 4 players up for salary arbitration. One of them is Adalberto Mondesi. We are not going to submit an offer for him. He's gone. I thought maybe he could be something at the beginning of the save, but he's just absolutely tanked. And we gave him chances in the major league level, and he just never made anything out of them. So he's going to be gone. Chelsea Cuthbert, I was talking last year about how he could be a decent swingman between first and third. That didn't work out. He's going to be a free agent. I'm not paying him. Whit Merrifield, I'm torn on because, you know, he's decent-ish, but he also just put up a 661 OPS last year. That's not great. I don't think I have to tell you guys that. He does have quite a bit of positional versatility, so even if we were to push him to the bench, I think he would be good. And for that reason, I think I'm going to keep him around because he is going to be very cheap at around like $2 million. And Richard Lovelady in his first year of arbitration, he'll be fine. We're not going to worry about it. That is a pretty low figure for the first year of arbitration of a good reliever, though. That's pretty interesting. 2 pending free agents eligible for the compensation, Seth Manis and Tanner Roark. Obviously, neither one of them is going to catch my eye on that. The Tanner Roark contract ended up being a mistake. He never put it together here. And, yeah, we never really got our money's worth out of him. Pitched, you know, a fair amount of innings, but nothing impressive. So that's going to be our salary arbitration done. Pretty simple for us right now. And now we're just going to go until salary arbitration hearings and free agent filings, and I'll be back when those happen. All right, so salary arbitration has happened. Whit Merrifield got $2 million. Richard Lovelady got $850K. That is exactly what we thought would happen. Let's take a look at the international free agents. All right, so Alfredo Delgado doesn't look great. Oh, somebody out of Hungary. I've never seen that before. I mean, I'm not going to sign you because you're bad, but interesting. Juan Monroy, not good. Luis Castro, that looks like a nice reliever. $7 million a year. That may be a bit rich for my blood, but you are 26. I'll have to at least consider it. Rodolfo Gijon, I believe is how you would say that. Not a great reliever. Juan Lara, not a great catcher. Luis Soto, not a great catcher. Gongsun Mu, not a great first baseman. Again, these guys are not great. Rodolfo Tapia, not amazing at center field. And Luis Burgos, not good in right. So, really the only person worth paying attention to here is Luis Castro. And, wow, somebody signed... Oh, Yuki Matsui signed for the Astros. That's interesting. I hope that turns out well. He's cool. He's a Japanese player that's been really dominating over there as a reliever, so cool to see him get into this. If we look at the top free agents, according to OSA, Chris Archer, Yonder Alonso, Josh Donaldson, Ken Giles, and Zach Britton, after winning the Cy Young, are their top 5. And I find it unlikely that we'll be signing any of them. I'm going to take a look at Andrelton Simmons, though. Yeah, that's too much. If he was in like the 13, 14, 15 range, I would consider it, because an 80 grade player at shortstop is really rare, so you have to at least take a look at it whenever it comes up, but that is going to be a bit too much for me. If we look at our front office and our accounting here, financial summary up in the top left, money for free agents, we have $45 million this year, because we're only spending $25 million on commitments for next year, which is maybe the least I've ever spent. So that's pretty interesting. I can probably take our scouting budget down just a little, and that'll give us even more money to play with, but I don't think that that's necessary unless we really want to, you know, go crazy, and I don't think that's the year for this. I think that that should be probably next year, and we can save up a little bit of cash towards that. So let's go to the off-season center and see what we can do about some free agents. Got to create some pictures here. I do like that international reliever. I'm not entirely sure that it's going to be a great pickup for us, but I am interested by it. Oh, Manny Machado is a free agent. That is not going to happen. $38 million. I mean, it's just interesting. We're not going to sign him. That's way too much money. So let's do what we said we were going to do. Let's first look at relievers and see what we can come up with. So Luis Castro is kind of the obvious one here. Might even be better to just look at default here and go for potential ratings and then look at the demands. So Luis Castro wants $7 million, which compared to pretty much everyone around him is just pennies. So I think we are going to have to go ahead and offer him a contract. $7 million over 3 years. He would be 29. Let's make it 4 with a team option. That is betting pretty hard on him, though. So let's try 6 the first 2 years and then 7 the next 2 with a team option. He wants a buyout. That's fine. Okay, he likes the offer. Excellent. I wouldn't be surprised if that escalates to like 9 million-ish, but even then, that would still be okay for us. Somebody like Keone Kela. Yeah, I'm not hugely into extreme fly ball pitchers with bad movement. Roberto Osuna, he is fragile, but he is really good. I wonder if we could just limit his innings, he would be okay. During the save, he's pretty consistently put up like 60 innings, 50-ish innings, and then last year, obviously, he was injured for almost all of it with what? Oh yeah, the torn flexor tendon. Duh, that's why I didn't trade for him. I remember now. So yeah, he's had that one major injury and then some niggling injuries. He's so cheap. He is an extreme fly ball pitcher, but he's got great movement. And in my experience, that means a lot of pop-ups. So I think I'm really heavily debating this. I wouldn't normally sign somebody that's fragile, but he's 25. What other opportunity am I going to get to sign a 25-year-old with 126 saves and a career 3.16 ERA with great peripherals to a $7 million a year deal? Yeah, I think I have to go for it. All right, so he wants an escalating contract. If he's willing to go 5 years, let's start out with 7, and then we'll add, let's say, $3K each year. So this would be 6, and then the next year would be 9, and then the last year would be 8.2. Let's ask for his response. He likes it. I think that would be a pretty decent contract. I kind of regret the length of it, but let's just say that if it's a gamble that pays off, it'll be really great. And I think this is the type of moves that I should be making right now in free agency is, younger players that aren't proven internationally and, injury risks and young players like that. So I'm not too upset about taking that sort of risk. Davey Mendez, I'm not hugely into that. I found that it is really difficult to get a lefty. So Brad Hand would be somebody that I would look at. He is 30 and coming off of his worst season. But again, isn't that exactly the type of person I should be after, is the buy low candidates? Let's see what my scouting director says. He'll frustrate hitters with his elite stuff. He could be tagged for high leverage late inning duties. Okay, well, that's all I need to hear. If my scout believes, oh, you're not interested in joining my organization, I should be exactly the sort of organization you're interested in joining. Damn it. Okay. Fine, we won't sign you. Who's the next lefty down the line? Jose Alvarez? You're not as good, but you are an Iron Man. You're 31. You're coming off your best season, though. Although, that's super impressive being in Colorado, and it hasn't really made you... Looks like an average reliever to me. Okay. I'll think about it. I'm not super excited about it in any way. But then again, he's one of the very few lefty options on this year's market. We do have Lovelady, but I'd like him to remain in a high leverage role. Yeah, you're not that great. Alright, I think that's enough work on relievers for now, and we'll just kind of see who falls through the cracks maybe a little later. And let's go to all infielders now. Go back to page 1. So we have anybody with a low demand particularly. So it looks like Nick Ahmed. Okay, well, you can't really hit, so that's not good. And, of course, Adrian Beltre, who's 41 now, but still ticking on. Wow, this is really bad market for infielders. Oh, man. Adeni Echeverria, he's an Iron Man. No injury history. Wow. He is selfish, which I'm not in love with. But he's a good defensive shortstop. Fringe everyday player. Huh. Yeah, that doesn't really excite me, to be honest with you. we do have some money to spend, so I am kind of looking at Simmons again. Last year he put up an 808 OPS. That would have been first on our team. And he also is an amazing shortstop. I mean, what does he want in terms of length of contract? 4 years. I mean, I don't want to do a 4-year deal. I'm thinking if I could grab him on a sort of 1-year double team option, that would be more acceptable. And at like 16 million, I mean, I'm asking for a lot compared to what he wants, but okay, that's not going to get it done. He seems to want the years more than he wants the money. I mean, if we're not relying on him, we're relying on Ronnie Mauricio to come up, and that's going to be in, I mean, maybe as many as 3 years. So maybe this is a deal that we should do. If he'll make it 2 years with double teams, I'll do it. He won't. Oh wow, that really pissed him off too. Alright. What about this with 1 team option? That works for him. Okay. Alright, well I'm going to submit the offer. Obviously, if that goes too high on the money, if we're looking at like a $20 million a year contract, I'm not going to do it. But I do have to at least consider that, because it is rare to see a player like that. In fact, I want to see if there's a way I can show you that. So search all leagues, shortstop, move the defense all the way up to 80 grade with no other requirements. There are 2 in the entire league. The other one is Luis Guillorme, who last year hit for a 663 OPS. So, yeah, I think that's a really impactful signing if we can make it. And it's maybe a year-ish too early, but yeah, I'm kind of selling myself on it the more I talk about it. Let's check in and see if there is a starting pitcher that we would like to take a look at. Dallas Keuchel is fragile, but he doesn't want a lot of money. Who are you, Edgar? Okay, well, no. That's not happening. Spencer Moran. Again, same thing. Yeah, those guys are like minor league AAA depth. Clayton Richard? No. Garrett Cole. I feel like I've talked about you before on this series. Yeah, it's just not happening, man. Alright, well, I think that's a good solid 3 offers for now. I'm going to go until Hall of Fame voting begins, and as we do every year, we'll go through that, and then maybe we'll start to see those offers coming in. Alright guys, we're back, and as you can see from our fan reaction, Andrelton Simmons just signed with us. Just right off the bat, so I was going to be kind of nervous if that contract got any bigger, but as it stands, this is a $66 million 4-year contract, which, as I like to think of it, is not too much more than Alex Cobb got. And if you've seen Alex Cobb for the Baltimore Orioles this year, yeah, this is a better signing. But yeah, and it also has that team option, so it could just be a 3-year deal, which would bring him to 34, and then we can cut bait and not have to worry about things too much. He is probably already declining a bit, but I'm trying not to worry about it too much. If nothing else, I think the defense is still going to be there for him. And come on, it's a shortstop. It's what we needed. I'm really happy about it. As it goes for our other two signings, Luis Castro was very impressed by our last offer, and Roberto Osuna likes to get paid and thinks that he's going to get paid if I sign on with you, which, yes, Roberto, that is true. That is how contracts work. Manny Machado settled on the Rangers for, quite a bit of money. $209 million over 7 years, which is so much money. But he is 28, so, I can see it. And, that's really consistent, plus the great defense at third base, the decent defense at shortstop if you need him there. I say decent, it's plus. So, yeah, that's a good signing for the Rangers. Thankfully, they're not in our division, so I don't have to worry too much about it. Let's go on ahead to Hall of Fame voting, and hopefully we can make our other two signings as quickly as we made our first. So then it is the Hall of Fame voting, and this is something that when the series began, I didn't even think that I was going to be showing you guys every year, but it's kind of become one of my favorite parts is, having discussions with you guys about who should be in, who shouldn't be in, and what my ballot is like. So my ballot has been completed for this year. We're going to start at the top. Bobby Abreu was actually the last one to get put on my ballot. He's just first on the list here alphabetically. But Bobby Abreu, I was kind of torn between him and Rafael Soriano. In the end, to me, Soriano just didn't quite have the lengthy career that you need, and I gave it to Bobby Abreu. I also considered Torrey Hunter, but again, not quite the career to me that I thought was going to be better than somebody like Bobby Abreu, so I stuck with that. Roger Clemens, I think, should be in the Hall of Fame. I've said that before. Julio Franco, really good player. I think I'm sort of solidifying that I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Todd Helton, obviously a great player. A little bit of debate because he did play in Coors Field, and it is a little bit difficult to say what his career would be like apart from that, but I don't know, I do think he is, if not a surefire Hall of Famer, he is borderline enough that he's worthy of my vote. Tim Hudson in his first year on the ballot, absolutely Hall of Famer, 3,000 innings and a 3.49 ERA. That is a lot of really great innings pitched, and I'm not huge on wins, but 200 is kind of becoming the new 300 in terms of pitcher wins, and he has 222, so I had to at least take that into account. Jeff Kent has just amazing career numbers, and there are a lot of people that aren't voting for him because they think he was a locker room cancer or didn't like what he did later in life, but the fact of the matter is he's one of the greatest offensive second basemen to ever play the game, and I think he deserves recognition for that, so he's getting it on my ballot at least. Mike Mussina is kind of a darling of the sabermetric community, and also should appeal to old school guys as well because he has 270 wins, which he may be the last guy we see with over 250 wins go into the Hall of Fame, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. Curt Schilling, again, people not liking what he was doing later in life, all that, I totally get it, but as a baseball player, he was absolutely Hall of Fame worthy. And Gary Sheffield just never gets the recognition that I think he should get. 2,600 hits, 500 home runs, a career slash line of 292, 393, 514. That's awesome. 80 WAR over his career, just solid all around. And the last person on my ballot, a personal case of mine, Billy Wagner, who I've explained multiple times, I think is one of the greatest relievers to ever play the game, right up there with Trevor Hoffman and Mariano Rivera. If not, tops on that list just below him. So I think he absolutely deserves to go into the Hall of Fame alongside them. That's my 10 players, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Is there somebody that you saw on that list that absolutely deserves it and I'm just overlooking? Is there somebody on my list that definitely shouldn't be? Let me know down in the comments, and maybe we can have a little bit of a discussion about it. But that is going to be my ballot. I'm going to submit it, and now we're just going to go until I get some updates on those contracts or we get to the Rule 5 draft. All right, more good news, guys. This has been a really easy offseason for me. I've just submitted one contract offer and people have just been taking it. So Roberto Osuna is in, and I think he's going to be a really good addition to our bullpen. As things get later on in the offseason, I'm not going to be looking to sign people like him who are really amazing. I'm going to be looking to, like I said, fill in the back of that bullpen a little more. So this is the top end, and then we'll work on the bottom end as much as we can. I just really want to start building a solid bullpen, because I do think our solid rotation can carry us to at least an average-ish finish in runs allowed, but our bullpen has just been awful. So let's see if I can go 3 for 3 on contracts with no negotiations. Okay, so no new negotiations happening, but I did notice this huge trade went down between the Atlanta Braves and the Baltimore Orioles. Chance Sisco and Bailey Clark going to Atlanta in return for Kyle Wright. So that is a pretty big trade, especially after Kyle Wright had a really nice season last year. A 3.08 ERA over 169 innings, so definitely looking like a really good player. And Baltimore trading Chance Sisco in the deal after a year in which he hit 830 OPS from the catcher position, which is really great. So yeah, kind of a blockbuster trade there. Sisco can't really play defense at catcher. He's below average, but he's okay. But yeah, I just noticed that. I wanted to let you guys know because I thought it was pretty crazy. We are at the Rule 5 draft, so I'm going to go ahead and start that up. We have the first pick because, well, I don't even want to talk about it because it was last year and we're putting it behind us. Sort by all players. Obviously, I have not put Ozuna on the active roster yet, so I need to do that. That could have been really bad. Davey Mendez as a back of the rotation player. I'm kind of thinking about it. Sorry, not back of the rotation, back of the bullpen. Nobody else is standing out to me. Let's see if there's anybody with great stuff and decent other ratings. No, not really. Yeah, Victor Arano. The movement is really bad, and he's an extreme fly ball. Yeah, that's not going to cut it. What about Aaron Bummer? Yeah, that looks decent. He's only played in high A. He is a ground ball pitcher. He's 27. Alright, well, I'll keep an eye on it. Is Garrett Clevenger a better option as a lefty? No, he's similar, although he started in Double A and then went down, which is, if anything, more concerning. Let me see if there's anybody on the batting side of things that I want to take a look at. Freudis Nova? Nope. Really should have this on batting ratings, not batting potential. Nobody here that really interests me. And again, it's not really like we're looking for a bat, so maybe Josh Naylor? No. Yeah, I think we're just going to go back to pitching ratings. And I think that is who we're going to draft. We're going to draft Davey Mendez. And that's going to be somebody towards the back end of our bullpen. And then we're going to go until our next pick. Okay. And then if we sort once again by stuff potential, go down the line a bit. Actually, this guy... Nope. I think we're going to go with Aaron Bummer for our second pick, as that sort of back-end lefty, maybe like a lefty specialist. And I think that's pretty much going to complete the draft for us, unless there's somebody out there with crazy movement or crazy control. Yeah, no, nobody that interests me in particular. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for us in the Rule 5 draft, so I'm going to hit complete. So now we've added, so far this offseason, an amazing shortstop, which I think was a really good signing for the money it was worth. We've added Roberto Osuna, which is a really high upside play with a pretty significant downside. Oh, Donnie DeWeese was lost in the Rule 5 draft. Oh, I'm so sad. And then we've also added, now, Davey Mendez, sort of a back-end player, and Aaron Bummer, again, sort of a back-end player. And we add that to Liam Hendriks, who in theory should be solid, but he's pissed at us because we didn't win enough. So I think we're building, the beginnings of a solid team. I'm just trying to lay down the foundation and get us ready to win. We're just going to go now until Hall of Fame voting results and see if in the meantime we get another reliever to add to our stable. All right, I am 3 for 3, Luis Castro, with signs without any negotiation. So I don't know if that means that nobody else was interested, which should scare me, or if that means that I made the perfect offer. I really don't know, but I'm happy to see it anyway, just because it means that we don't have to jack those prices up any higher than I was willing to go. We will throw Luis Castro on our active roster, and now if we look at our pitching, we see that we have Roberto Osuna as our closer, which is questionable, and we may change that as the season goes on. But then we have Luis Castro in as a setup man, Richard Lovelady in as a setup man, Liam Hendriks all the way down into middle relief, Walker Scheller down there as well, Davey Mendez down there, and then we also have as our lefty specialist Aaron Bummer. So I think this is a pretty solid, not spectacular, but solid-ish bullpen, and we can really start towards respectability on the pitching side is really what I want. I don't want to have to bring in some reliever and all of a sudden he gives up 2 home runs or something and gives up 5 runs over 2 innings. I'm moving away from that. It's way past time. So now if we look at our lineups as well, actually a better way to look at this would be our depth chart. We have plus, above average, triple plus, and above average. Average for now, but probably going to be plus. By the time Ely comes up, we'll have double plus, almost triple plus in center field, and then we'll have above average in right field. And we have plus in the catching department as well. So I think now we've started to work on that defense a little bit. Andrelton Simmons is obviously huge. Jerry and Ely is going to be huge when he gets up here. because that means that Zhao, who was solid in center field, can now move over and be really good in left. And we get to take out, I believe it was maybe Collins or Downs. I can't remember. I think it was actually Downs for most of the season, who was starting in left field, and he's just not that good. So I think we're making some really good moves, and I'm starting to get a little bit excited about next season, especially because it'll be our first real long look at Jerry and Ely, and hopefully some of our other prospects are going to be starting to come up through the ranks, and we'll start seeing the results of what has been admittedly not the best process I've ever had. So let's go on ahead to Hall of Fame voting results, and we'll reveal those. Oh, and somebody else that I forgot to mention earlier is Justin Lawrence, who we drafted in the Rule 5 a year ago and got injured, who I had just totally forgotten about and disregarded. But he's also, in theory, another solid arm, and he's sidearm as well, which adds a little bit of funk into our bullpen, which I always like. I think you should always have a little bit of, just like one guy at least who pitches really weird. So let's go on to Hall of Fame voting results. So then we are finally here at Hall of Fame voting results, and let's go ahead and click in and see who made it. So Roger Clemens, Mike Mussina, and Kurt Schilling all get in, and I think it's rather fitting that Mussina and Schilling go in together, given that they had pretty similar career times, as well as Roger Clemens. So I think it's a good, nice class, really tight together. And Todd Helton did sort of approach the threshold, but not really. Tim Hudson really low in his first year. That surprises me a lot. And I can't talk. Bobby Abreu, not great. Gary Sheffield still not getting the votes. Billy Wagner did jump up by 5% this year. Unfortunately, if he's only jumping up by 5% every year until he goes off the ballot, that's not going to be enough. Jeff Kent looking like he's not going to get in for sure now. Julio Franco in the same boat. And Torrey Hunter, really low. Somebody that I was considering putting on my ballot. So, bit surprised by that for sure. And Soriano, not a single vote. So I feel a little bit better about that decision. And the more that I thought about it, the more that I realized that he had a really good but really, really short career. And that's not really what the Hall of Fame is about. So I'm glad I didn't vote for him. And hopefully we can push one of the guys that I really like into the Hall of Fame that is apparently not getting love. It looks like it's going to be Tim Hudson at this point. And, granted, there are some issues with his career as well, but I do think he is Hall of Fame worthy. So that'll do it for the offseason. I was going to try and sign some, kind of average relievers, as I said, about the back of the bullpen. But looking at it now, we have Justin Lawrence, Davey Mendez, Walker Scheller, Liam Hendricks. Those are just as good as the guys that I'm going to get on the open market, and I'm not paying them near as much. And then we have Aaron Bummer for our lefty specialist. I think everything is here, and there's no real reason for me to really be looking for, guys on the free agency market. I think we've made the signings that we need to make. I think the biggest thing that happened was by signing guys like Castro and Osuna, we managed to push, a guy like Hendricks, who was in a setup role, down into middle relief. We managed to move Lovelady, who was in a closer role, down to setup role. So, that kind of domino effect of pushing everybody down one step in the bullpen has really, really strengthened the back end just by extension. So I'm pretty happy about it. I'm not sure about Tanner Hoke, and he needs his picture regenerated, actually. So I'll do that a little later. I'm not sure about him in a starting role at the major league level. He walked 8 batters per 9, but he also struck out 8 batters per 9. According to our scouting reports, he has the potential to develop into a mid-rotation starter, but he's not there yet, so I don't really know what to make of it. According to OSA ratings, he has even higher potential, but yeah, I'm not sure he's quite ready yet, which is kind of worrying when you think about how old he is. He's 24. He's older than Forrest Whitley, and I believe older than Justice Sheffield. About the same age as Justice Sheffield as well, and they're both much further along in their development than he is, so that's a bit worrying. That said, we are going to just go straight into the beginning of the regular season now. I'm going to move all my prospects around, and then we'll get ready for the first game of the season. Actually, guys, really big news and pretty sad news as well. Our owner, David Glass, has passed away, and you know, as somebody who knows David Glass and about how passionate he is about the Kansas City Royals in real life, this is a little bit sad for me. His son Mike is going to be taking over, and team owner changes. Mike Glass will take over ownership immediately. He wishes you all the best and looks forward to a good business relationship, and now we have some new goals. Thank you for your years of service with the Kansas City Royals. Here's to another 4 years. Yeah, I'd actually like that, or 20. So his goals are: don't suck completely, upgrade at catcher this season, acquire a nationally popular player, keep building a team up in order to reach the playoffs in the next 2 seasons. Oh, wow. So he thinks that we're pretty far along. So let's take a look at Mike Glass. Wow, that is an amazing owner. I mean, I'm pretty sad about our other owner, David, passing away, but you have raised a really great son. His priority is extreme winning. His involvement is normal. He's generous, and he's lenient on his patients. That is really great. So a sad day, but a day to start looking towards the future of Kansas City, and hopefully we can give Mike the championship that David got. So let's go ahead to opening day. This episode, I think, is starting to run a little bit long. I haven't really I obviously haven't edited it down yet, so I don't know what the final is going to look like, but I think I'm going to wait, and at the beginning of next episode is when we'll play opening day, just because this has been a bit longer of an off-season, and it'll give you something to look forward to, your first look at the new Kansas City Royals. So I think that I'm going to leave you guys here. My name has been Archer. This has been our OOTP 19 franchise with the Kansas City Royals. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support. My first video has just an amazing amount of views now. Just you guys have been awesome and sticking with me all the way through. I just want to send out a thank you to everybody that watches. You are awesome, and I really do appreciate it. If you have liked the video, again, consider clicking that like button. It helps out visibility, and the more people that I can share this with, the more people I want to share this with. And also consider subscribing, so that way my videos can show up in your sub box, or click the bell if you want to receive notifications about whenever I post. That has been it for this video. I'll see you next time.